You know, in the skies over the Middle East, something fundamental is changing. There's a new kind of war unfolding, and it's not just about jets and missiles anymore. We're talking about artificial intelligence, swarms of autonomous drones, and the truly incredible and frankly dangerous speed they bring to the fight. Today, we're going to use the US-Iran conflict as a window into this whole new era of warfare. So to really get this, let's start with a question. What if the biggest threat you face on the battlefield isn't some high-tech superweapon, but just a simple, brutal equation? An equation that pits your most expensive, sophisticated defenses against your enemy's cheapest, most disposable weapons. Because that, right there, is the reality of this new kind of fight. And that leads us straight into our first big idea, the new interceptor math. At its heart, this is a war of economics. I mean, the imbalance here is just staggering. On one side, you have Iran launching weaves of these relatively cheap kamikaze drones, like the Shahed. They're pretty simple, easy to mass produce. But on the other side, to shoot them down, the US has to fire these incredibly advanced, multi-million-dollar interceptor missiles. You see what's happening? Iran isn't trying to win a technology race. They're waging a war of attrition, a war of economics. And this quote from MIT's Theodore Postol just nails the strategic danger. The goal isn't necessarily for one drone to get through. The real goal is to launch so many of them that you force the defender to just burn through their entire limited stockpile of interceptors. And once those are gone, well, your most valuable assets are left completely defenseless. So how in the world does the US fight back against a numbers game like that? Well, you change the game completely. The answer isn't just about building more missiles. It's about building a faster, smarter network. This is where we get into the idea of fighting at machine speed. Okay, so historically, picking a target has been this very slow, very deliberate, very human process. You have commanders coming up with options, intel teams building databases, specialists matching the right weapon to the right target, lawyers weighing in on the legality of it all. I mean, this whole thing could take days, sometimes even weeks, before a single order is given. But that old way of doing things, it's basically obsolete now. Just listen to Admiral Charles Cooper from US Central Command. He says AI is now compressing that entire cycle, all those days and hours of work, into seconds. The whole point is to achieve what military planners call decision superiority, to see, decide, and act faster than your enemy can even figure out what's happening. The big concept that makes this speed possible is something called JADC2. The easiest way to think about it is like the ultimate military network. It's designed to link up every sensor from satellites, jets, ships, boots on the ground, and feed all that data into one massive AI-powered brain. It's all about seeing everything all at once and sharing targeting info instantly across the Army, Navy, Air Force, everyone. And the specific engine driving this whole thing and the conflict with Iran is a tool called Palantir's Maven Smart System. Now, this isn't some single all-powerful AI like you see in the movies. It's actually a really complex system that's constantly crunching huge amounts of data. Everything from top-secret intelligence to public social media posts, to find targets, match them with the right weapons, and even predict potential damage, all in near real time. But, and this is a huge but, this incredible new speed comes with an equally incredible risk. Because when you accelerate the kill chain that dramatically, you also accelerate the potential for a catastrophic mistake. There's a ghost in the data, and it moves at machine speed. 175. According to reports, that's how many people were killed when a US Tomahawk missile hit the Shajareh Tayyibeh Girls' School in Minab, Iran on February 28th. So what happened? Well, an investigation laid it all out. The building had, at one point, been part of a nearby military base. But years earlier, between 2013 and 2016, it was fenced off and converted into a school. Here's the problem. The targeting system was fed older intelligence from the Defense Intelligence Agency, where that building was still listed as part of the military base. The strike was authorized using data that was almost a decade old. And this is the part that's so crucial to understand. The AI didn't make a mistake. It did its job perfectly based on the information it was given. The failure was a classic human one, using bad intel. But the system's blinding speed amplified that error. It moved from finding a target to launching a missile so fast that the human checks and balances, the moments where someone could have double-checked the data, were just gone. The speed itself became the risk. Now, this whole technological arms race, this dance between cheap threats and super fast responses, it's not happening in a vacuum. It's actually part of a really dangerous global feedback loop. And the main proving ground for all of it? The battlefields of Ukraine. Yeah, this all brings us to Ukraine, because those very same Iranian drone designs that are challenging US forces, they are being battle tested on a massive, massive scale over there. Ukraine has basically become the world's biggest and bloodiest laboratory for drone warfare, and it's forcing their evolution to happen at lightning speed. You see, what started as a one-way street, with Iran just supplying Russia with drones, has now turned into a dangerous two-way exchange. Russia took those Iranian designs, they used them by the thousands against modern Western air defenses in Ukraine, and they learned a ton. And now they're sending those hard-won lessons and even better technology right back to Iran. And what kind of lessons are we talking about? Exactly the kind that make the original problem even worse. We're talking about advanced swarm tactics designed to completely overwhelm defenses, new flight paths to hide from radar, better ways to protect the drones from being jammed electronically, and deadlier methods for targeting critical infrastructure. Iran's drone threat is getting a real-world, combat-proven upgrade. And this is how you get the escalating cycle that's really at the heart of modern war. As Russia and Iran make the drone threat smarter and more deadly, it demands an even faster, more automated response from the US and its allies. But, as we've already seen, cranking up the speed also cranks up the risk of a terrible mistake. It's a truly vicious circle. So it all leads us to one final, pretty unsettling question. As the whole decision-making loop in war shrinks from days to minutes down to mere seconds, we're literally approaching the speed of thought. But what happens to judgment, to verification, to just simple human oversight when there's no time left to actually think?